is the brand new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, and there's one thing you need to know about this phone. AI.
So we just finished up Unpacked, and the thing that jumped out to me by far was AI. I counted it. It took 30 minutes for the keynote before they actually stopped talking about AI and discussed hardware in any way really whatsoever. Is Galaxy AI actually good? Or is this just a cynical way to sell new phones that are hardware-wise almost the same?
So it's funny to think that my very first proper tech event was the Samsung Unpacked for the Galaxy S3 all the way back in 2012. Considering that it has been 13 years, a lot's changed, and yet it's funny how much hasn't. So Unpacked was interesting because it really felt like a showcase for Galaxy AI, also featuring some hardware that they happened to announce. Now, the core of it is pretty much what you would expect. Galaxy S25, S25 Plus, S25 Ultra. They did show a brief sort of teaser for the Galaxy S25 Edge, which I'm very excited to see. Let me go grab my actual S25 Ultra and start using this thing to see exactly what the AI is all about. If I say AI one more time in this video, I'm gonna lose my mind. You know, coming back from Unpacked, one of the features that they did highlight is how the S25 Ultra is their most durable phone yet. Sure, that new Gorilla Glass Armor 2 is impressive. When you're investing this much in a phone, do you really want to take chances? That's exactly why I want to thank today's sponsor, SUPCASE, who's got some seriously impressive protection options for your new S25 Ultra. Let's start with my personal favorite, the UB Grip. The textured edges give you that confidence-inspiring grip while still being rated for 15-foot drops. Plus, the built-in ring kickstand is actually useful for both propping up your phone and as an extra grip point. See, I didn't even need to look at it because I knew it was fine. Now, if you're all about that MagSafe life, there's the UB Mag XT. Not only do you get some of that convenience for charging and accessories, but the real star here is this camera cover design. Not only does it protect those expensive camera lenses, but it transforms into a kickstand. Honestly, pretty cool. But for those of you who absolutely want hardcore protection, there's the UB Pro. This thing won CNET's annual drop test by surviving a 20-foot drop. It includes two front frames, one with a built-in screen protector and one without, so you can use your own. If you're ready to up your protection game for your new Galaxy S25, definitely be sure to check out SUPCASE at the link in the description for an exclusive 15% off discount, and thank you very much to SUPCASE for sponsoring this video. Alright, so I've been using the S25 Ultra for just under a week now, and while clearly nothing can touch the sheer perfection of Galaxy AI, there is something bigger to discuss first. The S25 Ultra, it suffers from a bit of a weird problem that I will say it also shares with the iPhone. It is thoroughly, almost boringly excellent. Now hear me out here. Flagship smartphones have been unbelievably good for a few years now. I mean, let's just run through some of the big ticket items. Battery life? Absolutely terrific. Easily a full day, honestly, closer to a day and a half for me. Screen? Probably the best display in the business. Incredibly bright and vibrant, 120 Hz, and it has a killer anti-glare coating that makes pretty much every other phone look dull in comparison. Performance is a real highlight. The Snapdragon 8 Elite is absolutely badass. Early testing shows gains up to 30% across the board, and you can feel it in just the general snappiness. Speaking of performance gains, let's talk about cameras. So the S25 Ultra has largely carryover hardware with the exception of a brand new 50 megapixel ultra wide. Now beyond that, you also have the 200 megapixel main camera, a 3x as well as a 5x telephoto, and you can use digital zoom to go beyond that. Especially for stills, it's a really nice setup. And when it comes to video, they have made a couple of key improvements when it comes to processing, and specifically Galaxy Log. So right now you're looking at footage directly off of the Galaxy S25 Ultra with no LUTs or color correction applied. But once I do a little bit of color correction to try to tweak it, you can see that it will look significantly better. Now I will say that the iPhone definitely has an edge here. Not only is Apple Log really well supported with nice color science, but on top of that, you can actually shoot in the ProRes codec, which is going to be significantly higher quality. I still think this has a little ways to go, but importantly, it is a major step forward in helping the S25 line be a little bit more viable when it comes to proper professional use. Hardware design is maybe the only place where we lean a little bit more on the first half of the boringly excellent concept. Samsung has made the phone slightly narrower, thinner, and lighter while increasing the screen size. They've also adopted a more squared-off titanium frame that feels premium, but maybe a little less distinctive than the last generation. The only genuine downgrade is the S Pen. They've removed Bluetooth functionality to save, what,
$1? It does feel like an odd step backward for what's supposed to be the ultimate do-everything phone. I'll also say that the size of the Ultra is a legitimate concern for me. Now look, I totally get the appeal for most people wanting to essentially have a small tablet in their pocket with a 6.9-inch screen, but look, for me, it is just too big. Not only just for one-handed use, but even just carrying around day to day. I mean, this thing is massive in my pocket. The phone. Man, for me, something like the S25 Edge with its thinner design, or even the vanilla S25 is much more my speed. Although that doesn't take away from what the Ultra can do. And what it can do is Galaxy AI, which if you watched Samsung's announcement, you heard exactly 166 times. Shout out to Will for counting every single one. At this point, I've spent a decent amount of time testing a lot of these Galaxy AI features, mostly so you don't have to, and here's the real story. Some features are straight up half-baked. Take the Now Brief, for example. In theory, it sounds great. One page with your calendar, weather, and everything that's going on in your life. But unless you've completely bought into Samsung's app ecosystem, it ends up being a pretty sparse page of clickbait Samsung news articles and Spotify playlists based on the time of day. Interpreters also carried over from the Z Flip and the Z Fold 6. And while it's a solid on-device way to have conversations in different languages or to translate content, it's not exactly new or groundbreaking. Thankfully, there are Galaxy AI features that are actually useful. First up, there is Photo Assist. So this comes in a few different options. So there's Portrait Studio, which will make like a sketch of yourself, Sketch to Image, which if you're good at drawing, which I'm not, you can add stuff. But the main thing is Generative Edit. This is something that's actually useful. So say I want to get rid of this light that's above my head. I can select it, and then all I need to do is hit the eraser and hit Generate, and then theoretically, it will remove something that's distracting. So maybe it's like a person in the background of your shot, or in this case, a weird light that's sticking out the top of my head. And while it's not perfect, you can see that that's actually not bad. I'll give this like a mostly thumbs up. There's some goofy stuff in here, but it is useful. Note Assist is a whole bunch of AI crammed into the Samsung Notes app. So you can do a few things. So I could do some sketch to image. So if I want to make a happy, cool looking dude, I can just tap, sketch to image, select, and generate as a cool sketch. This kind of stuff is neat, although honestly it's not that different than what you'll find on most phones these days. And also the fact that you're doing this in Notes app, like yikes. And then if I wanted to, I could do something like translate. I could select that text and turn it into something like Spanish very quickly. So there are certainly advantages to some of this stuff, but I will say that for the most part, it doesn't feel that useful, at least not yet. Thumbs down. Another new feature is Audio Eraser. So let's start by recording some very loud video on the Galaxy S25. All right, so this is what it sounds like as I am recording directly into the phone. So you can hear that there's some clapping going on, there's some general crowd ambiance. Let's see what it sounds like with Audio Eraser. Okay, so now if I hit my little Galaxy AI button, it's going to analyze that audio and theoretically allow me to get rid of the stuff in the background. So I'm gonna play it here, and I'm gonna turn the noise off. Oh wow, it's gone. Turn it on. Wow. Okay, you know what? That actually works pretty well. It certainly doesn't sound super natural. Like you can hear it sounds a little bit crunchy. That's cool. I'm actually gonna say that's a big thumbs up. Transcript Assist is actually, I think, a pretty cool feature. So this is built into the voice recorder app. And much like what you could do on the Pixel, it will be able to record any kind of audio. It should be able to not only transcribe it, but it also will be able to detect different speakers and theoretically even do some translation based on what language is being spoken. So it actually did a pretty good job. It got a few things wrong, and it only detected 2 of the 3 of us who are actually talking here, but it did pick up pretty much everything that we said, and there's even a summary where you can see it sort of summarizes the bulk of the conversation. Now, it's not incredibly accurate, I will say. I do think the Pixel tends to be a little bit more accurate in my estimation, but this is a solid thumbs up. What I'm most excited for is Gemini as well as Bixby being combined. So the way it works is if you tap and hold the power button, it will pull up your assistant, which in this case is mostly Gemini, but it will also use Bixby to tie into stuff like changing your settings. Turn my brightness to 100%.
I can't help with that, but you should be able to make the change in settings.
Okay, that's a little annoying. So it won't do it for me, but it will at least bring me to the right spot. Turn off Do Not Disturb. Okay.
There you go.
It did that. I want to brainstorm a new video. I know how to speak.
Absolutely. Here are some ideas tailored to your tech-focused channel. Video ideas for Austin Evans. Tech deep dives. The ultimate iPhone 15 Pro Max review.
Whoa,
Deep
wait,
dive.
stop, wait. All right, so I would like some help with some brainstorming of a brand new tech video. Can you help me with that?
Absolutely. Let's brainstorm
Okay.
some ideas for your next tech video.
Wait, hold on. So this idea is specifically on discussing using the Nintendo Switch in 2025.
That's a timely and relevant topic, especially with all the Switch 2 rumors swirling around.
And then the Austin Evans Touch. Give me some benchmarks if I can steal the Switch 2. That's a great idea. This is cool because Gemini is very smart. It is a huge step up over any sort of normal assistant. Now I want to be clear that Gemini is not exclusive to the S25. You can get it on the Pixel and pretty much any other device, but it's actually really quite well integrated here. Honestly, once you use something like Gemini, it's hard to go back to like regular Google Assistant or Alexa or Siri. Like, it is such a huge step forward. I'll be honest with you, this is by far the biggest thumbs up of all the Galaxy AI stuff. Like, this is something that I can actually use on a regular basis. And the fact that I just have to press the power button, or if I wanted to, I can ask it about the video I'm watching. It understands the context on my screen. Like, this is actually powerful stuff. Okay, so that is a lot of Samsung's Galaxy AI. Look, I don't want to oversell this stuff. It's definitely not worth the amount of airtime they gave it during the keynote, but I will say it's a lot better than it was last year. At the S24 launch, it was mostly gimmicks. By the Z Flip 6 launch, it was getting better, but this time around, it's actually kind of decent. Now, I hope that these features in One UI 7 make their way to older devices, which would remove a lot of the reason why you would want to upgrade to the S25. But Galaxy AI might not just be marketing hype anymore. As for the S25 lineup as a whole, it's a safe but thoroughly competent update to an already excellent phone. You probably won't be surprised to learn that the Ultra is going to be one of the best phones of 2025. It is the definition of reliable flagship excellence, even if it doesn't make me feel anything personally. The vanilla S25, I really do think hits the sweet spot of both value and size, making it arguably the best choice for most people. Now, the upcoming S25 Edge, that's shaping up to be more of an interesting pick with the thinner design and the potential upgrades when it comes to the battery technology, but we'll have to wait and see on that. And the Plus, well, it exists. You know, what's interesting is how Samsung's strategy has evolved since that first Unpacked I attended back in 2012. For a long time, they were chasing hardware innovations, bigger numbers, more megapixels, higher refresh rates. Now, with slab phones kind of hitting a plateau, they're betting big on AI to stand out. And while I will continue to give them shit about overselling it in the marketing, the reality is that these features are finally starting to deliver actual value. The bigger question might be, do you need to upgrade? If you're coming from an S24 or even an S23, definitely not. But if you are on an older device, or maybe you're switching from another brand, well, the S25 Ultra is about as good as phones get in 2025. It's not exciting in the way the foldables are, and it's not as fresh feeling as some competing Android flagships, but it is incredibly good at being exactly what most people want from a premium phone. Reliable, powerful, and refined. It's almost good enough for me to forgive them for sitting through an hour of
AI innovation.